Back in 1885, a visionary inventor named Carl Benz changed the world forever with the creation of the very first technical car. Fast forward to today, and the world of automobiles has become a playground for the ultra-rich collectors and brilliant engineers who've propelled the industry to new heights. Join us as we show you the 21 rarest and most expensive cars of all time. Number 21, Rolls-Royce 15. In the realm of ultra-rare and coveted vintage automobiles, few can compare to the magnificence and heritage of the Rolls-Royce 15 HP. Debuting in 1904 at the Paris Auto Show, this model holds the prestigious distinction of being the very first production car ever made by Rolls-Royce. Even more incredibly, out of the minuscule production run of only 6 vehicles, it is believed that only a single example remains today. With an estimated value of $35 million in present times, the 15 HP encapsulates over a century of history and significance for both Rolls-Royce as a brand and the dawn of the automobile itself. Powered by a modest 3.1-liter twin-cylinder engine producing a gentle 15 horsepower, the 15 HP was never intended to be a speed demon. Its top speed reached a quaint 39 miles per hour, perfectly suitable for gently touring the countryside manor roads of Edwardian high society. What the 15 HP lacked in performance, it more than compensated for in sheer refinements and luxury appointments catered towards its intended elite clientele. The chassis alone cost a staggering €500, 2.5 times more than the average annual income in Britain when it debuted. No expense was spared in constructing a driving experience of unparalleled smoothness and quietness, setting the benchmark that has defined the Rolls-Royce legacy ever since. Out of the 6 originally built, only car number 2 is known to still exist over a century later. Having traded hands between prominent collectors, it now resides as the crown jewel in the Rolls-Royce Foundation's collection, a priceless symbol of their very origins. Number 20. Ford GT40 Gulf. The roaring Ford GT40 is an American icon revered for its historic domination of the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the late 1960s, vanquishing Ferrari's long reign. But one particular GT40 stands above the rest in mystique and value. The 1968 Gulf liveried car personally owned and modified by Steve McQueen. Considered the king of cool, McQueen's stamp imbues chassis No1075 with priceless provenance. Sold in 2017 for a record $11 million, this GT40's value is intrinsically tied to its McQueen association. During filming of his racing epic Le Mans, McQueen had a roof-mounted camera installed, cutting a hole right through the car's roof. This act of filmmaking audacity alone would have destroyed most cars' value. Not for the McQueen GT40, however. The car achieved icon status thanks to its silver screen exploits. In addition to Le Mans, chassis number 1075 also starred in McQueen's Bullet after being resprayed Highland green. The GT40 never stayed one color for long in the King of Cool's hands, also appearing in primer gray. More than just a movie prop, McQueen entered his GT40 in races like the 1970 12 Hours of Sebring. Driven by McQueen's Solar Productions partner, chassis number 1075 placed a respectable 9th overall. Number 19. Jaguar D-Type. When it comes to automotive royalty, few creations command the same regal reverence as the Jaguar D-Type sports racer. Manufactured from 1954 to 1957, the D-Type cemented itself as a motorsport legend through dominant victories and enduring beauty that crafted an iconic design template referenced for decades after. While short-lived, the D-Type's racing tenure reached immortal heights at the 1956 24 Hours of Le Mans, where drivers Ron Flockhart and Ivor Bube piloted their works-entered D-Type bearing chassis number XKD501 to overall victory. This milestone win came 50 years after Jaguar's first Le Mans triumph, punctuating the D-Type's competency. 2 more back-to-back wins followed in 1957 and 1958. making the D-Type Le Mans royalty. But the D-Type wasn't just a proficient racing machine. It pioneered aviation-inspired design that influenced sports cars for generations. Over the decades, the D-Type has traded hands between prominent collectors, including racing greats like Sterling Moss. The pinnacle came in 2016 when chassis number XKD504 commanded $21.78 million at auction, one of the highest prices ever paid for a British automobile. For Jaguar devotees, the D-Type remains the ultimate emblem of the brand's racing heyday, blending victory, beauty, and prestige beyond compare. Number 18. Ferrari 250 GTO. In the early 1960s, Ferrari cemented their racing reputation with the 250 GTO, considered by many as the greatest Ferrari ever made. Hand-built between 1962 and 1964 in a production run of just 36 cars, the GTO represented the pinnacle of Ferrari's expertise in combining beauty, exclusivity, and championship-winning performance. Designed by ingenious engineer Giotto Bizzarini, the 250 GTO essentially married the 250 GT road car with the latest Testarossa racing technology. The result was a 3-liter 512 engine pumping out 300 horsepower nestled into a gorgeous body penned by Pininfarina. Improved aerodynamics and race-tuned performance parts created the ultimate road track hybrid. On the track, the 250 GTO claimed overall victory at Le Mans in 1963, along with 3 consecutive FIA championships through 1964, cementing its legendary status. In 2018, chassis number TOS 4153 sold in a private sale for an estimated $70 million. For Ferrari collectors and enthusiasts, the 250 GTO stands as the Holy Grail, a treasure that represents the very best of Ferrari during one of their most magical eras. Number 17. Aston Martin Bulldog. In the automotive legends, there are few stories that capture the imagination quite like the curious case of the Aston Martin Bulldog. This radically styled concept car of the late 1970s never reached production, but the sole prototype that exists has carved out its own unique place in history as a testament to daring designs and record-setting feats. The Aston Martin Bulldog was conceived to showcase the British brand's engineering prowess by breaking the 200-mile-per-hour barrier, a feat yet unaccomplished by a production-styled car in the 1970s. Clad in wedge-shaped fiberglass bodywork and styled by William Townes, the mid-engine Bulldog was powered by a 5.3-liter twin-turbo 5.8 motor generating 600 horsepower, a staggering output for the era. When the Bulldog made its first 200 miles per hour attempt in 1979, it reached an impressive 191. However, it fell short of the goal. In 1980, with ambitions abandoned, Aston Martin sold the sole prototype to a Middle Eastern buyer for $158,000 at auction. In 2007, the Bulldog's current owner had the car restored to running condition again. This culminated in another high-speed effort in 2023, where 54 years after the first try, the Bulldog finally eclipsed 200 miles per hour, hitting 205 miles per hour and achieving the long-standing goal that eluded it decades ago. Number 16. Porsche 917K. Developed for a single purpose, total dominance of Le Mans, the Porsche 917 raced into sports car history as one of the most successful cars ever created. Scoring Porsche's first Le Mans win in 1970, the 917 began a legacy that continued with 4 straight victories through 1976. But the initial 1970 triumphs will forever link the 917K model with Porsche's establishment among the endurance elite. Engineers essentially created a race car with no road-going compromises. An aluminum space frame allowed removable bodywork sections for easy access servicing. A flat 12 engine situated the bulk of the weight centrally, starting at 4.5 liters and eventually growing to 5 liters when rules allowed. Aptly demonstrating the 917's capabilities, Gulf-sponsored entries took the top 2 positions at the 1970 race, bracketing Ferrari. The Porsche 917K's significance and rarity make survivors among the most coveted sports racing cars in existence. The 1970 Le Mans winner would command 8 figures easily if ever sold. Number 15. Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic. In the pantheon of the most jaw-droppingly rare and valuable cars ever conceived, few come close to the mystique and priceless prestige of the legendary Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic. With only 4 models built between 1936 and 1938, the Atlantic represents the pinnacle of everything Ettore Bugatti set out to achieve with his cutting-edge creations. Of the 4 Atlantics brought into the world, only 2 still remain, imbuing them with a value that rockets into 8-figure territory. Fashion icon Ralph Lauren privately owns one, while the other was sold in 2010 through a private transaction for an estimated $40 million. To call them priceless automotive treasures would be no exaggeration. Just a glance at the 57 SC Atlantic reveals why it has mesmerized collectors for over 80 years with its unmistakable design. Its seamless teardrop shape devoid of running boards, coupled with the prominent dorsal seam running from tip to tail, creates an aesthetic unlike anything else from the pre-war era. This avant-garde styling seamlessly blends form and function, enhancing the car's stout aerodynamics to achieve a top speed of over 120 miles per hour. Number 14. Helica de Layat. Motoring history has seen its share of radical innovations and outside-the-box designs, but few creations can match the sheer uniqueness of the otherworldly Helica. The brainchild of French aviation and automotive pioneer Marcel Layat, the Helica seemed to defy classification when it first debuted in 1921. Many contemporary newspapers described it as a plane without wings, which aptly captures its bizarre blending of aircraft and automobile design cues. Unlike any production car before or since, the Helica achieved propulsion not from a traditional engine, but instead by a large airplane-style propeller mounted behind the cabin. The driver could vary the pitch of the propeller blades to control the vehicle's speed. The propeller was powered by a 45-horsepower Layat 8-cylinder engine mounted in the front. The open-air tandem cabin's side-by-side seating recalls early aircraft cockpits, furthering the Helica's unconventional aviator car mashup aesthetics. Marcel Layat's background in aviation clearly influenced the vehicle's design. Its strange shape resembled an amalgamation of car, plane, and boat, creating a unique mobility device like no other. Despite its odd looks and propeller powertrain, the Helica could reputedly cruise along as high as 87 miles per hour on the road. However, any ideas of mass production were far too avant-garde for the times, and Layat only managed to have 30 cars built. Today, the whereabouts of all 30 Helicas remain shrouded in mystery. They are believed to reside in private collections, making a sighting an extraordinarily rare occurrence. Number 13. Bugatti La Voiture Noire. If we say automotive excess and over-the-top exclusivity, no creation has made bigger headlines in recent years than the one-off Bugatti La Voiture Noire. Billed as the most expensive new car ever sold, this custom-built $18.7 million, Bugatti claims the crown as the ultimate fantasy purchase for collectors with seemingly bottomless pockets. Unveiled in 2019 as a modern reinterpretation of Jean Bugatti's lost Type 57 SC Atlantic, the Voiture Noire's design channels the 1930s Art Deco era with flowing coupe bodywork and multiple dorsal seams traversing the length of the car. The lacquered black exterior and subtle trim elements conjure visions of a sinister Batmobile or spaceship, yet refined beauty radiates through its hand-formed carbon fiber skin. Under the hood lies a 16-cylinder, 8-liter quad-turbocharged engine producing 1,500 horsepower. This powers the Voiture Noire from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 2.5 seconds, with a top speed exceeding 260 miles per hour. Inside, sumptuous leather and bespoke fittings cosset occupants in a sanctuary of unrivaled luxury. Number 12. Tucker 48. The brief but beleaguered story of Preston Tucker and his Tucker 48 automobile represents an infamous yet captivating cautionary tale of chasing automotive dreams in the face of fierce corporate opposition. Tucker established his company with revolutionary visions of bringing new designs and features to the market before his startup met a scandalous demise after producing only 51 cars. Known as the Tucker Torpedo during development before launch, The Tucker 48 intended to introduce game-changing safety and engineering features like disc brakes, fuel injection, magnesium wheels, seat belts, and a rear swiveling center headlight that turned into corners. Unfortunately, Tucker's ambitions were cut tragically short amidst allegations of stock fraud that ultimately tanked the company despite his acquittal in court. The surviving 51 Tucker 48 stand as symbols of innovation and entrepreneurship cut short, resulting in a fascinating mystique that imbues them with great collectability today. Initially sold for $1,000 when new, the Tucker 48 now fetches over $1 million at auction in present times. Their remarkable history and against all odds origins have solidified them as some of the most sought-after American automobiles ever produced. Number 11. Bugatti Royale. The Bugatti Type 41 Royale represents the ultimate expression of extremes. Extremely excessive, extremely luxurious, extremely rare, and an extreme source of fascination for automotive enthusiasts. Produced between 1927 to 1933, with the intent of being the most splendid and majestic automobile ever built, the Royale more than lived up to Ettore Bugatti's ambitions of creating the ultimate automobile for royalty. Powered by a gargantuan 12.8-liter straight-eight engine, the Royale generated an impressive 300 horsepower, enough to propel the 2-ton behemoth to a top speed of 125 miles per hour. No